Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Mystery and adventure. The creaking door will be back in just a few minutes as we roll out another Inner Sanctum mystery from 78 years ago, June 5th, 1945, Death Across the Board, starring Raymond Massey. Thank you for tuning in on this Monday. This is the 5th day of June. It is the 156th day of the year, 209 days remaining until we get to 2024. 1783, Joseph and Jacques Montgolfier gave the first successful balloon flight demonstration. 1884, Civil War hero General William T. Sherman refused the Republican nomination for president with the words, "I will not accept if nominated and will not serve if elected." U.S. went off the gold standard on this date in 1933. In 1944, General Dwight D. Eisenhower made an announcement that implied that D-Day was coming.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely. But this is the year 1944. Much has happened since the Nazi triumphs of 1940-41. The United Nations have inflicted upon the Germans great defeats in open battle, man to man. Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war, and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.
Tomorrow at this time on many of these radio stations, we will have our annual tribute to D-Day. And that was 79 years ago today, tomorrow, June 6, 1944. That announcement you just heard was on this date, 79 years ago, June 5th, 1944. Senator George C. Marshall proposed a plan to help Europe recover financially from the effects of World War II, the Marshall Plan. Let's see. In 1967, the Arab-Israeli Six-Day War began. 1968, Senator Robert F. Kennedy shot by an assassin and died the next day.
Senator Kennedy has been shot. Is that possible? Is that possible? Is it possible, ladies and gentlemen? It is possible. He has not only Senator Kennedy. Oh my God! Senator Kennedy has been shot, and another man, a Kennedy campaign manager, and possibly shot in the head. I am right here. Rafer Johnson has a hold of a man who apparently has fired the shot. He has fired the shot. He still has the gun. The gun is pointed at me right at this moment. I hope they can get the gun out of his hand. Hold him, Rafer. Keep people away from him.
Reporter Andrew West of KRKD Radio, a Mutual Radio Network affiliate. In 1976, the collapse of the Teton Dam in Idaho. 1981, the Centers for Disease Control published the first report about the disease that would later become known as AIDS. In 2001, Senator Jim Jeffords left the Republican Party, an act which shifted control of the Senate from the Republicans to the Democrats. Also in 2001, Tropical Storm Allison made landfall on the upper Texas coastline as a strong tropical storm dumped large amounts of rain over Houston. The storm caused $5.5 billion in damage, making Allison the costliest tropical storm in U.S. history. In 2002, Elizabeth Smart kidnapped from her Salt Lake home. And in 2004, former President Ronald Reagan passed away.
Today marks my first State of the Union address to you, a constitutional duty as old as our republic itself. President Washington began this tradition in 1790 after reminding the nation that the destiny of self-government and the preservation of the sacred fire of liberty is finally staked on the experiment entrusted to the hands of the American people. For our friends in the press who place a high premium on accuracy, let me say, I did not actually hear George Washington say that. I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit, for political purposes, my opponent's youth and inexperience. Although I've been around for a while, I can remember when a hot story broke and the reporters would run in yelling, "Stop the chisels." But I am aware of my age. When I go in for a physical now, they no longer ask me how old I am. They just carbon date me. The story was an American and a Russian arguing about their two countries. And the American said, look, in my country, I can walk into the Oval Office, I can pound the president's desk and say, Mr. President, I don't like the way you're running our country. And the Russian said, I can do that. The American said, you can? He says, yes. I can go into the Kremlin to the General Secretary's office, pound his desk and say, Mr. General Secretary, I don't like the way President Reagan's running his country.
A fine president, a fine speaker. Ronald Reagan passing away on this date back in 2004. Others passing away on this date in history include Arthur O. Henry, country musician Conway Twitty, actress Jeanette Nolan, also The Velvet Fog, Mel Torme, and science fiction writer Ray Bradbury. This is the birth date of Thomas Chippendale, the furniture maker. No, not about the dancers. This is also the birth date of Western lawman Pat Garrett, revolutionary Pancho Villa, actor Hopalong, he was Hopalong Cassidy, Bill Boyd, born on this date, football star Art Donovan, and actor-writer Spalding Gray. Journalist Bill Moyers is 89 today. Financial advisor Susie Orman is 72. Saxophonist Kenny G, 67. Musician Brian McKnight, 54. Singer-actor Mark Wahlberg, 52. And actress Lisa Weil is 46. Those just a few of the people celebrating the 5th day of June as their birthday. And if this happens to be your birthday...
Hi, we're the 4 freshmen, and we just want to say... Happy birthday to you!
And we head back 78 years, June 5th, 1945, Inner-Sanctum-Mysteries. That's up next on this Monday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, screen star Raymond Massey stars in an episode of Inner-Sanctum-Mysteries, Death Across the Board, from 78 years ago, June 5th, 1945.
Lipton Tea and Lipton Soup present Inner Sanctum Mysteries, starring Raymond Massey. Good evening, friends. This is your host of the Inner Sanctum, welcoming you to another half hour of gore galore. Come in, won't you, and sit down. No, not there. You'll sit on Ezekiel. He wouldn't like that. Besides, you'll probably find him pretty cold. We've been keeping him on ice for about 6 months now. What? That noise? Oh, that's just his teeth chattering. No, not because he's cold, but because he's just finished going over tonight's story and... Well, I guess you could call him a scared stiff. Tonight's story is called Death Across the Board. It's an original radio play by Robert Newman. And our star is that famous dramatic actor of stage and screen, Raymond Massey, who will play the role of John Strand. Do you like to play games? Your life, but even your soul on one throw of the dice or the turn of a card. Oh, you don't care for such high stakes, eh? Well, did it ever occur to you, by living, you're playing such a game, and that your opponent was death? Tonight, I'm going to tell you a story about a man who sat in death's place, playing with human lives, and of what happened to him. It is about 10 o'clock on a sultry summer evening, and Dr. John Strand is standing in front of the window of a pawn shop in the oldest part of the city. On a sudden impulse, he pushes open the door.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Is there anything I can do for you?
No, thank you. If you don't mind, I'd just like to look around.
By all means. I just thought if there was something in particular...
Oh, I really didn't have anything special in mind. I just thought... Hello.
Ah, my chess set.
Yes, a very interesting set. And a very interesting game you're playing.
My dear sir, you have no idea how interesting.
Whose move?
White's.
Then White should win in 6 moves.
That, sir, is very much open to question.
Well, perhaps we can play sometime. How much for this set?
It's not for sale.
Oh, too bad.
Yes. However, if you're interested in chess and chessmen, I know of a set that I think might appeal to you. It's an Arabian set, 12th or 13th century ivory. The white pieces are Saracen warriors, and the black pieces are crusaders.
Do you have it here?
Unfortunately, no. It's not very far away. If you thought you'd like to see it.
Well, if it's not too outrageously expensive, then you're sure it's no bother?
My dear sir, don't give it another thought. I'd be most anxious for your reactions, even if you don't buy. The address is 23 Vallon Place. It's down 2 blocks, and 1 to your right. Go up 1 flight and ask for Felix. Tell him that Raphael sent you.
23 Vallon Place. Up 1 flight. Ask for Felix.
I'll phone him, tell him to expect you. Your name is?
Strand. Dr. John Strand.
Very good, Dr. Strand. Somehow I have the feeling we shall see each other again. Perhaps we should even have the chance to play that game you mentioned before.
Who's that? Who's there?
Felix?
I said, who's there?
My name's Strand. Raphael sent me over here. He said he'd phone you and...
Just a second.
How do you do? I hope I'm not disturbing you.
Okay, come on in. And stick 'em up.
What? I'm afraid there must be some mistake.
Sure is, Bub, and you made it thinking you could come here and take me this way.
But this is ridiculous.
I said stick 'em up. Keep 'em up or I'll let you have it right now.
What for?
Because I said so, that's what's for. Let go of me. Let go. Drop that gun. Or drop it, do you hear? Where is? Blast you. Sure let you have it right away. Oh.
Okay. Now get up and tell me what this is all about. I said get up and... Felix. Dead. He's dead. Hello?
Felix?
I'm sorry, but he can't come to the phone right now.
Oh, Congratulations.
What? Who is this?
This is Raphael. Now, do you think it's possible for White to win in 5 moves?
What do you mean?
You killed him, didn't you? Of course you did, or you wouldn't be speaking to me now. May I suggest that you go through Felix's pockets, take out the most interesting thing you find there, and bring it to my shop?
What? Hello. Raphael. Go through his pockets. I've got to get to the bottom of this, find out what it's all about. A wallet. Keys. And a chessman. A black rook. All right, Mr. Raphael. I think perhaps I'll take you up on that. I will go back to your shop.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Yes. Where's Raphael?
Oh, I'm sorry. He's not in right now, but are you Dr. Strand?
I am.
I'm Alice Hines. He must have been expecting you. He asked me to give you this.
What is it?
I don't know, but
Another chessman. A white knight.
Oh, yes. Mr. Raphael is quite a chess player.
He's more than that. He's a murderer.
What? What do you mean?
He sent me to see someone, a man named Felix, to look at a chess set. When I got there, he pulled a gun on me and... Well, when I tried to get it away from him, it went off and killed him.
Oh, no.
Don't look so surprised and innocent. You work for him. You must know what it's all about.
There must be some mistake, some horrible mistake.
A mistake, eh? Then why did he phone Felix's while I was there? How did he know he'd been killed? Why did he laugh about it? Tell me to come here.
Well, I don't know, but I can't believe that about him. I won't.
No? Well, we'll see what the police have to say about it. Where's the phone?
Back there. But if you're serious about it, you don't have to bother calling them. Riley just went past here a few minutes ago. There he is, up at the corner.
Fine. That'll save some time. Officer! Oh, officer, would you... Good Lord. Someone shot him.
That woman hiding behind that car there. The woman in black. She's coming in here. Don't just stand there. Get inside and shut the door. You shot Riley. You killed him. 6 months I've been trying to find out who got Ben. Now I can rest in peace. Where's Raphael? Raphael? He's the one that got the dope for me. Told me how to knock the cop off. Told me to come in here afterwards.
Well, Miss Hines?
Why are you looking so funny? Say, whose side are you on, anyway?
Not ours, my dear. Not ours.
Well, that's it. I just took it for granted you were working for Rafe. Okay, get him up and keep him up. What'll I do with him, Raphael? Where are you, anyway?
Oh, I'm around here someplace. As to what to do with them, I leave that to your discretion. After all, they are witnesses.
Yeah, that's right.
May I recommend the cellar? Right through that door there. It's secluded and quiet.
Okay. Get moving.
I repeat, Miss Hines. Well?
It's fantastic. What are you going to do to us? You can't be that dumb, babyface. 6 months I've been wearing black for the only guy I ever loved. I finally get the guy that got him. You think I'm going to leave the two of you around to put the finger on me? You mean you're going to kill us? You can't. No. Seems to me I did a pretty neat job on that flatfoot. After all, they can't burn you more than once. Okay, open that door and go on down.
Allow me, madam.
Never mind, wise guy. You go down first, then babyface.
It's not very good manners.
No, I'm not going to let you do it. Give me that gun, don't you fool! Let it go!
Down after it. And hurry. Watch it while I get the gun.
I didn't mean to do it. I was just trying to get the gun, but you tripped. You fell. Mr. Strand. Why is she lying there so funny? Her head.
Let's see. Huh. Her neck's broken. She's dead.
Oh, no. That means I killed her.
Not any more than it means I killed Felix.
Look, there, lying next to her. Isn't that another chess piece?
The Black Queen.
Why, he gave me one just like that when I first came to work for him. Only it was a white one.
What?
Screen star Raymond Massey, Inner-Sanctum-Mysteries, Death Across the Board, from June 5th, 1945, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. A reminder tomorrow, our D-Day special, and then the news coming up from this date in history follows these important messages from your favorite station. Just going to take a minute here to tell you about the big savings going on now, the clearance sale at mypillow.com. And you know, I've talked about how in my office I have a pair of my slippers, and they're really comfortable, and they're on clearance right now. The mypillow.com slippers, $25 a pair, limit 10. And I would buy 3 or 4 more pairs. Unfortunately, they're out of my size. They also have sheets, pillowcases, clothing items, all on special right now. Go to mypillow.com, click on the clearance tab at the top of the page, use my promo code Wyatt, or call 1-800-928-4715. Limited sizes remaining in the MyPillow slippers, limited colors on other items. mypillow.com, clearance tab, promo code Wyatt, 1-800-928-4715. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We're listening to an episode of Inner Sanctum Mysteries, Raymond Massey starring in Death Across the Board, as it was broadcast 9 p.m. Tuesday, June 5th, 1945. In the newspapers of that Tuesday 78 years ago, these were some of the headlines. The hard core of the United Nations Charter, the provision for efforts to end international disputes peacefully and to use strong-arm methods if they fail, approved yesterday by a United Nations Conference Committee. Chairman Camilo Ponce Enriquez of Ecuador said the committees had approved an entire charter dealing with determination of threats to the peace or acts of aggression and action with respect thereto. At least 15 Americans and Germans killed, 80 others injured when 2 mysterious explosions, possibly caused by delayed action bombs, wrecked the U.S. military government police headquarters in Bremen, Germany yesterday, the 4-story building in downtown Bremen, a former headquarters for Nazi SS detachment. General de Gaulle conferred lengthily yesterday with the American, British, and Soviet ambassadors in Paris as France's dispute with Syria and Lebanon apparently entered the field of diplomatic settlement. The Middle East remained tense, and British reports said that small-scale anti-French demonstrations had erupted in Cairo, where a meeting of the Pan-Arab League, voiced support of the Lebanese states. A Reuters dispatch said Olivier Roger, the French commander who ordered the shelling of the Syrian capital, had been replaced and had been left by air, presumably for France. Japan threw a scare broadcast at the U.S. yesterday, declaring balloon-riding Nipponese pilots would soon be raiding America via the stratosphere. This amazing prediction was delivered with great gusto, as other Japanese reports recorded by the Federal Communications Commission admitted the Okinawa battle has reached its climax, with Americans swarming around and over the island, including a new amphibious landing on the southern end. Also claiming life in the ruins of bomb-wrecked Tokyo had returned to full normalcy. American soldiers and Marines striking out on all sides to complete their conquest of bloody Okinawa have captured half of Naha Airdrome on the west coast and are pushing rapidly into the southern reaches of the island. Sensational Yank gains of up to 5,000 yards on this island doorstep to the Japanese homeland, reported by Fleet Admiral Chester W. Nimitz shortly before the Guam Superfortress Command announced. A major B-29 lashing of Kobe, the #1 port of Nippon and its 6th largest city. The giant bombers striking Kobe for the 3rd time dumped 3,000 tons of firebombs on prime industrial targets this morning. The four-man Allied Control Commission, which will govern Germany, will meet in Berlin today, an official report said last night, as Allied broadcasts warned of penalties in store for able-bodied German men who failed to report to their jobs in the conquered Reich. While authoritative quarters maintain silence on the immediate plays of the commission, a Radio Luxembourg broadcast reported in London said it will meet today. Those some of the day's top news stories as reported in the newspapers of Tuesday, June 5th, 1945 on your radio Inner Sanctum Mysteries, which continues now on Classic Radio Theater.
Black Queen, White Knight, and... No, it's impossible. And still...
You've thought of something.
It's too incredible. But I've had a certain nightmare vision that... Come on. We're going to the police. Maybe it's our move now.
Well, live and learn. I always had an idea that I wouldn't like chess, that it was a pretty slow game. But here we've only been playing for about 15 minutes, and we've chalked up 3 corpses already. Yes, this kind of chess is just like a divorce.
Why? What do you mean?
Well, it's a good way to get rid of your wife. That is, if she's a stale mate.
Oh, June 5th, 1945, Inner Sanctum Mysteries on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Tomorrow on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, I'll look back at the events of D-Day, June 6, 1944. Included in the hour, the sounds of the day, an abbreviated episode of The Bob Hope Show, commentary by H.V. Kaltenborn, a prayer from President Roosevelt, and more. That'll be on Tuesday's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Anytime on demand, classicradio.stream. Now the conclusion of Inner Sanctum Mysteries. 78 years ago, June 5th, 1945, Raymond Massey, Death Across the Board.
Well, let's go back to our game of chess. And our star, Raymond Massey, who's playing the role of John Strand. It's about a half hour later now. Dr. Strand and Alice Hines are sitting in a bare, quiet room, the chief's office at police headquarters. For the past 10 minutes, Strand has been talking steadily, describing everything that has happened.
So you each bumped someone off, eh? And you've come to give yourselves up.
We certainly did not come here to give ourselves up, Chief. I told you that in both cases it was self-defense. We're here because there's a madman loose, a homicidal maniac. No, there's more to it than that. Much more.
Yeah? What?
It just came to me a little while ago. There was something strangely familiar about this Raphael, and... Did you ever hear of Raphael Norbert?
No.
He was one of the greatest chess players the world has ever known. About 5 years ago, he disappeared. Well, he's playing another chess game now. The maddest game that ever was. Is there a map of the city around?
Right there on the wall.
Let's see. Now, here's Raphael's shop, and... Yes, this would be it. This section of the city here, 8 blocks each way. This is his chessboard. And human beings, people like Alice and I, are his chessmen.
What?
John.
I know it sounds fantastic, but I think it's true. When he sent me to Felix's, he told me to go down 2 blocks and 1 to the right. That's the move of the night. In other words, he had cast me as one of the white knights in his crazy game. Alice was the white queen. He himself was the black king, and so on.
He just lined up all these people, said, you play this piece, you play that,
no.
And...
That was the beauty of the game. The fascinating, exciting part to him. No one knew that they were playing in it, but he. For instance, Felix didn't know that he was a black rook any more than I knew I was a white knight. But his black pieces were all criminals of some sort who wouldn't hesitate to kill. And it was by killing that one piece took another. You see, that was the ultimate refinement. The thing that made this the greatest game Norbert has ever played. He could plan a move, but he had no way of telling which piece would take which. For instance, I killed Felix instead of his killing me. In other words, he was not only playing his game against law and order, against society, but he was matching his brains against that of every piece in the game.
Against law and order, eh? I got this in the mail a couple of weeks ago, without any letter or anything. How would it fit in with your theory?
The White King. Of course. He's cast you in the role of the White King. In other words, he's playing this game principally against you.
Now do you believe us, Mr. Adams? Do you?
I don't know. It's possible, I suppose. We've been having a funny kind of crime wave lately, killings without any apparent Excuse me. Hello?
Hello, Chief. Valenti speaking. I'm down at the corner of 3rd and Sycamore, and there's something kind of screwy going on.
Hello, Valenti.
What's the matter?
One of our detectives calling from 3rd and Sycamore. Said there was something screwy on, and then, well, sounded like somebody got him. I'll make sure about this before you answer, but would this be part of what you were talking about?
Let's look at the map again. 3rd and Sycamore. That would be in the area that's Rayfield's chessboard. Yes, I think it is.
Okay, come on. We're going down there.
There he is, lying next to the call box.
Dead. Stabbed.
Look there, lying next to him. Another chess piece.
A pawn. A white pawn. Of course. If you're the White King, then all your men would be pawns.
Pawns, huh? They're the pieces that get pushed around, aren't they?
Well, they're the ones that are usually sacrificed.
2 of my men, Riley and Valenti. Okay, Strand, you're a chess player. You think you can figure out what this Rayfield character's going to do next? Tell me how I can meet him?
I might. I only got a very quick look at the board. But if I can remember the location of the pieces...
You mean he's actually got a board set up showing where all the pieces, where everybody is?
There's one set up on a little table right next to his desk. No one's allowed to touch it.
That's the one. And it was because I noticed it, commented on it, that I got involved in this nightmare. I think I do remember the position of all the pieces that were left. But of course, some moves may have been made since I saw it last.
Well, what are we fooling around for? Let's go to that shop and make sure. All dark. Doesn't look as if anyone's in the store.
Locked, all right. You got a key, haven't you, Alice?
No, Rayfield never gave me one. He always locked up himself.
Well, what do we do?
2 of my men killed, and you ask me something like that. Look out. Okay, where's the light?
Right here. There's the chessboard over there.
I know. Let's take a look at it.
This all there is to the place?
Except for the cellar, Oh, she must still be down there. That woman in
We'll
black...
go down there later. Well, Strand?
Well, at the moment, black seems to have the edge on us. Several moves have been made, and we've lost several pieces. But we still got a fair
The devil's
chance...
winning that game. Where's this Rayfield guy, the Black King? What's he going to do next?
Just give me another minute or two, will you? The Black King is still in his own square, which would seem to mean that Rayfield was still here someplace. The thing is, I'm not sure whose move it is now.
You're right, Strand. I am still here. And it's my move.
What in thunder?
It's him speaking over some kind of loudspeaker system. Maybe from the cellar.
From the cellar, huh? Well, I'm going to...
Alice, where are you?
Over here.
Are you all right?
I think so. What was it? What happened?
He must have had the place mined or set a booby trap, and when Adams went to open the cellar door, he... Where is Adams?
What? I'm not sure, but I think he's over there.
I must have some matches someplace. Here. Under that beam. There. Help me lift it off. Adams!
Is it...
No, but he's pretty badly hurt. Just let me get a few tourniquets tied on him, and we better get him to a hospital. This way. The emergency ward's right in there.
How do you know?
Well, I ought to. I interned here. Funny. There's no one around. Well, let's put him right there, on the table. Gently. That's it. Hello? This is Dr. Strand speaking from the emergency ward. I've got a very severe accident case here. Is there anyone around who can take care of him? What about surgery? Crandall? Oh, fine. Will you ask him to get down here as soon as possible? Thanks. The chap I used to know is just finishing an operation. He'll be down in a few minutes.
Will there still be time?
Yes, I think so. We'll have to give him a transfusion once we get him patched up. I'll start scrubbing up myself in case Crandall needs a hand.
Isn't there anything I can do?
Just keep your eye on him, the tourniquets particularly. It'd be too bad if he lost any more blood.
Right. He's still unconscious, but no.
Oh, hello, Crandall. That was quick. Awfully glad you were here. It's a pretty serious case. Adams, the chief of police. An explosion.
Oh?
If we don't work fast, we may lose him. Shock. Possible concussion. Right axillary artery severed. I got a tourniquet on. I'll be finished scrubbing up in a minute and give you a hand.
Take your time. No hurry. I'll just...
What are you doing?
Removing the tourniquet.
Wait, I'm not ready with the ligatures yet. You're not Crandall. You're Raphael.
Right, Strand. Raphael Norbert. Dr. Crandall is still in surgery. Locked in, as a matter of fact. I put on this mask and gown not because I thought it would fool you. Because, well, somehow it just seemed appropriate.
But it can't be you. You were in the shop.
No, Strand. You're thinking of my voice. It was coming over a loudspeaker system from next door. If you're thinking of my position on the board, you forget. I hadn't made my move yet.
Raphael, I don't know why you've done all this, and I don't care why. But you've got to let us do something about Chief Adams. All that blood he's
Yes,
losing.
Raphael, for heaven's sake.
Now don't move, either of you. I won't have to shoot. I sincerely hope it won't be necessary. After all, when the chief of police dies, the game will be over. And a most interesting game it's been.
But haven't there been enough deaths?
You're very sentimental, my dear. I'm afraid you never would make a good chess player. Pieces have been taken, that's all.
Raphael, suppose we just give up. Say you've won.
That's right, Raphael. We'll cede you the game. But let me do something about Adams. There's still time. I've got everything ready here. All the instruments.
No, Strand. This is one game I won't have ceded. That I insist on having played out to the last move.
If that's the way you want it, all right. If I'm not mistaken, it's my move now.
My eyes. I can't see.
The formaldehyde won't help them any. Here's his gun, Alice. Watch him while I get these tourniquets back on Adams.
Do you think you can still save
Yes. His pulse is weak, but I think we can still save him. As for you, Raphael, you made one bad mistake. You forgot that 3 of us came to your shop. The White King, White Queen, and White Knight. That would put you in check.
I bow, Strand. I felicitate and congratulate you. If I'm to lose, I prefer to lose in my own way.
Watch it!
Oh, he went through the window.
There's a railroad underpass right outside. A drop of about 60 feet. I think that's game, match, and tournament.
What? You mean the game's over already? Well, that's impossible. We've still got some characters left, at least 3 of them that haven't been killed off. We've been robbed, and I think we ought to call for a return match. Let's take a vote on it there. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3. That's funny. It came out just the way it did for our friend Raphael. The eyes got it. Before I say goodnight, a word of advice. If you should ever get into a chess game with a stranger and you happen to notice that he's got a meat axe on his lap, don't get up and run. Just make sure that there's someone else around to help pick up the pieces. Oh, by the way, this month's inner-sanctum-mystery novel is Lay That Pistol Down by Richard Powell. And oh yes, let me tell you about next week's Inner Sanctum story. Directed by Hyman Brown and brought to you by Lipton Tea and Lipton Soup. Next week's story is about a picture that kills everyone who owns it. It's a masterpiece of murder. Yes, just as soon as a man hangs up this picture, the vice versa happens. The picture hangs him. And now it's time to close the squeaking door until next Tuesday. So, good night. Pleasant dreams.
There you have it, June 5th, 1945, Inner Sanctum Mysteries on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. And as always, I have to tell you that Raymond Massey, a very fine actor, and it's good to hear him in an episode of Inner Sanctum. All right, tomorrow, don't forget, our D-Day retrospective tomorrow, going back 79 years, and you'll hear lots of stuff as Americans learned about D-Day and how it occurred. And they'll talk about the false reports and the real reports and what people were thinking and how they were praying. That's tomorrow at this time on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on most of these stations. Thank this station, support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you here every Monday on your favorite station. Miss a day? You don't have to miss a show. All of our shows are available at classicradio.stream. Classicradio.stream. Stream our shows. Learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. I've got a list of podcast apps where you can download our shows so you can have them that way. You can find our social media links. And if you'd like to support us, you can buy me a copy. The Buy Me a Coffee money helps us acquire additional classic radio collections and helps us maintain our distribution channels. Classicradio.stream. Have yourself a great Monday. Have a great week ahead. Tell all your friends the greatest radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station.